y'all, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be sharing how I made a what if I go missing guide for my first ever solo trip, explaining what the heck even is that and how you can make your own if you're thinking about traveling by yourself. Okay, so it kind of is exactly what it sounds like. A what if I go missing guide is just information to provide to friends or family members in case you go missing or something bad happens to you. Now, I know that most people don't like to think about worst case scenario, but unfortunately we live in a world where anything can happen, so I feel like you should always just be prepared and take precautions in case, hopefully it doesn't, but just in case something bad happens. So I actually am an avid true crime podcast listener, documentaries. I'm just so fascinated with true crime and murder mysteries, all that stuff. I love it, love it, love it. And I actually first heard about a what if I go missing guide from one of my favorite podcasts called Crime Junkie. I listen to it every single Monday. There's a new episode. I'll leave the link down below if you want to check it out. But the host of that podcast would often mention a what if I go missing guide. Now, in the context of maybe if you get murdered, the guide is a bit different, but basically in the podcast it would just be a folder or a document with information in case you disappear. Most of the times whenever they would refer to that would just be like a general thing to keep with maybe like your bank passwords, social media passwords, stuff like that in case you go missing from your home or where you live. But in this case, I'm going to be talking about and sharing my own guide that I made for my trip that I took alone. So if you guys did not see my video, I'll leave it linked down below when I took a solo trip to Zion National Park in Utah. So I was traveling from Dallas, Texas all the way to Utah by myself for the first time ever. So last week I actually posted a video about how I planned this trip, and at the very end I mentioned that you need to have a what if I go missing guide in case while you are on your trip people don't hear back from you, maybe you disappear, get injured. If you're going on a hiking trip like I did, nobody hears back from you. So let me actually just show you guys on my phone the guide that I made, the information I included, and just kind of talk about what you can include in your guide. Okay, so right here is my guide that I made using Apple Notes, and let me just show you guys what I included. So you can get as detailed as you want. The more details, the better. And so this trip, I was there from a Thursday through a Sunday, and so I included information like my flight, what airport I would be going to and from. I included my boarding and departure times, my terminal, even my flight number, because I don't know, if the plane crashes and my family doesn't know what flight I'm on, I just always think of worst case scenario, and I just try to include as much information as possible. And you guys will also see that I included some PDFs and links just to make it all nice and super detailed. So I actually included a PDF of my boarding pass just in case there was more information. This guide was also kind of my own itinerary, and so like at the airport I pulled up my guide to scan my boarding pass, so it served multiple purposes, two purposes really, for myself and also for my family members to be able to see what I was doing. And then I also included a link to the airport that I would be traveling to, because my family probably wouldn't be familiar with the Las Vegas McCarran Airport. So in Apple Notes, you can actually embed directions or addresses from maps. And so if you click on it, it will take you to the link of that address. And then since I had a rental car, I had information about the company, enterprise, what time I was supposed to pick up my car. And once I got the car, I included the make, model, license plate, and the state of the license plate. Again, the more details the better. And so some of the prices on here were more just for my own sake to kind of add things up. So I put the price of that. And I put how many miles the drive was going to be from the airport to my hotel, and about the estimate of how many hours it would take, in case maybe they didn't hear from me. They would be able to see that, oh, she's probably driving, because that's about a 2-hour drive. Next is my hotel. I included the name and also a link. I think this is linked. Oh, no, I linked it under. So, name of the hotel, my check-in time. Once I got there, I put my room number. I even put my confirmation number and PIN code. That was more for myself, but again, just information to share with my family. And a link that will take you to Apple Maps with the exact location of that hotel. And then on Sunday, the day that I was leaving, I included information about checking out, when I was supposed to return my rental car, and then my flight information for going home. And at the very bottom, I just put Zion National Park and had a link to the map, because that was the only place that I would be going to. Now, I did not have like a detailed like day by day what I was doing and like the hikes I was going to, because I honestly didn't plan anything, and all I knew was that I was going to the park. So in the future, I probably will, for myself and also for my guide, have at least a general like rough cut of what I will be doing day by day. But all this information was shared with my immediate family. I don't think they even actually opened it, but if something did happen and they needed to check like, oh, what hotel was she staying at, or where did she say she was going again, this would have been available. And so if you have an iPhone, once you type out your note, if you click in the top right hand corner that person symbol, you are able to invite people to share. And I think they can also edit, but whenever you invite them, you just pick view only. And so looking at this, the only person who actually opened it was my brother. But again, that information was there just if they needed to see anything. So if you don't have an iPhone, I would recommend doing Google Docs. Now, the thing about Google Docs and Apple Notes, when you share it with somebody, it's a live document. So like once you get there, you can add in your hotel room number, your rental car license plate. If anything changes or your flight changes, you can just go in, make changes, and the people who are viewing will be able to immediately see that. So if you like print out a paper guide, or if you just like email somebody or use a Word document, those are not going to be live documents. And so if you do make changes, the people who you are sharing that with will not be able to get an instant update. And so just a couple of other general solo travel safety tips is to not tell everybody that you are there alone. And that both means people in person who you encounter on your solo trip, also social media. If you are posting about how you are staying at this hotel alone, and maybe you have a public Instagram account, there could be some crazy people out there. And so while I was on my trip, I did not post any like specific locations. Like I didn't geotag my hotel or if I was at a restaurant, and I never said that I was there alone until after I was not there anymore. Other things just in general, if you have an iPhone or another device, an Apple Watch, share your location with multiple people. I had like 6 or 7 family members and a couple of friends who had my GPS location because I was going hiking, and so there was an added factor on top of just being alone of possibly like getting lost in the mountains, getting injured. And so always tell multiple people where you're going, what time, or about what time you should be back to your hotel or wherever you're staying, and share your location. I know that it seems like a lot, but I promise you, take precautions, because if you are proactive and you do all of these things, and once you're there, you can actually just enjoy your trip because you know that you have done your homework and prepared. And so I don't want to stress you guys out or deter you from traveling alone. I have said this in so many videos, but my solo trip was the most amazing thing I've ever done, hands down. I'm going to be doing more trips, so be on the lookout, but these are just some general safety tips and my what if I go missing guide. Other than that, just general common sense things while you are alone. Don't get super intoxicated. Be aware of your surroundings. Don't always be on your phone because that can distract you from maybe seeing something suspicious or sketchy around you. And use common sense but have fun. Those are pretty much the only tips I have. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you are thinking about doing a solo trip, let me know down below where you're going to be going. I am trying to plan some trips, so I definitely will post more videos whenever I do my next solo adventure. And last thing, if you are not into true crime, I would highly recommend giving it a chance. I will link down below some of my favorite true crime murder mystery podcasts. I truly feel like when I began kind of getting more into that, it really made me more aware of my surroundings and taught me different ways to kind of protect myself and just be more proactive in preventing something bad from happening. So thank you guys so much for watching my video, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye y'all.